This is going to be a reaction video to the Ravens Stadium practice tonight. I'm not sure if you guys are looking for this type of content or not. Obviously, it's a practice, but it's our first chance, those of us that just watch online, to see, the things we're doing. Look, if you were going to ask me to evaluate this practice, I would say it's a Monday practice. So I'm going to give you two descriptors about this. In a typical high school schedule, which is what my, basic experience is in coaching-wise, Monday is an install day and you do drills. But you're not doing a team, and you're in, we call shells, just shorts and helmets, not jerseys, just practice jerseys. Ravens practice jerseys are nice as shit. So, they're probably way better than what most people wore as game jerseys, even up through college in some cases. I would say this is like a Monday schedule with a little bit of Tuesday mixed in, where you're doing some coverage stuff maybe. Monday defensively, we would always do some coverage stuff. We would do some Pass Skelly stuff where we're covering routes so the kids could see the routes and be able to talk about it Monday night, in our text chats and stuff. In a pro schedule, this is probably the first practice of the week. 65-70% effort in a lot of situations, but some of the team situations, obviously you can't dial it back too much because that's how people get hurt. I do have a video that I made of this. It's just going to all be pictures, to be honest with you. So there's not going to be any video, provided here. This is just going to be stationary pics of some key moments and things that I wanted to mention. Let's go over some generalizations, and I'll talk about specific spots. Try to keep this under 15, 18, 20 minutes. Bateman was solid, dangerous as hell. Plays that were extended, Bateman snagged the ball in the back of the end zone. There was a pass that Kyle Fuller knocked down that was intended for Bateman on the left sideline. Somebody else had good coverage on the right sideline. Both of those look like zone situations to me. Of course, he had the bomb that he caught down the right sideline on a backup DB, I believe. He looked great. Bateman looked on you could watch that practice and look at our receiver group, watch them run routes, and Bateman and Prochet stood out to me. Just their professionalism, the way they run the route, how sharp their cuts are. Lamar, sharp, in control, smooth. Even on times when the pocket was pushed. I'm going to be honest with you, the first rep they showed in this practice of not a game rep, but a drill, where the quarterback was pushing him off and having him move laterally, having him move back. I didn't think he looked that good in that drill. He looked loose. But once everything started, after that rep, everything was smooth. When the pocket was moved, it looked like to me there was pressure on the left edge consistently. I know we had Juwan James out there a lot at left tackle, and then Falele. I don't know who it was coming from, Owe, Houston, whoever. There was pressure there. And I thought Lamar had to step up consistently. One time, I thought we got pressure from a 59, the second-year outside linebacker off the right side. When Lamar had to move around, things were tight. One time looked like he was a little frustrated because nobody was open, and he thought somebody should have been open. Andrews was cruising. Looked great early on. I know he caught a lot of balls. There seemed to be a period of time where he dialed it back some until Humphrey forced that fumble on him that was near the left sideline. And then I thought Andrews turned it back up a little bit. I did see one time when my man Josh Bynes covered him great on an over route, so I had to point that out. Shocking to me that Macari is only playing center. Rotating at center with Cologne and Linderbaum, 63, 64, 65 in numbers. I didn't see him at left guard at all, and I might have missed that. To me, that's a waste of a player. It doesn't make sense. I thought I saw Macari with the second. Unless we're trying to trade him or something, to a team that needs a center, I just don't see the point. I don't get it. That's just me. Again, pressure defensively off the left and right edge a couple times. I'm not sure who it was. I have to go back. Look, I haven't watched it a second time at all, and I'm not going to. This is all just initial reaction and some notes that I made. Hamilton looked like he was getting some reps with the first team defense and a lot with the second. What I thought I saw defensively early, and there's two pictures in here of first team defense, was nickel, Stevens, Fuller, and Humphrey at corner, and Humphrey as the slot corner. And then Marcus Williams at safety and Clark at safety with Bynes and Queen at inside linebacker. That's what I thought I saw with the first nickel group. Now, you can see on that catch right there by Bateman, that bomb down the right sideline, that Hamilton was on at safety. And there were some times where they walked him up and then they dropped him back post-snap. I might have missed a corner in some of these sets, though, and maybe Hamilton was the safety. And Stevens was off. I thought Stevens looked good. Tylan Wallace was quiet early. Had that one big touchdown catch over a DB late in practice. Crochet just smooth with everything. I know that there weren't a ton of catches by him over the course of the whole practice in some of the 11 on 11 team situations, nor pass Skelly. Just so you know, 7 on 7 is called pass Skelly. Running backs are huge. I don't know what other NFL running backs look like, but Davis is humongous. He makes quick, definitive cuts. I can see the Edwards comparison now more. He made one great cut, I thought, on an inside run period, which inside run is no receivers. This practice was really well organized, I thought, for the second year in a row, just watching it. Impressed, quick moving, not wasting time. Tyler Batty isn't small either, for real. And I thought Clement looked comfortable in the zone structure, which I saw a lot of zone blocking. You guys tell me what you saw. I saw a lot of zone blocking in this practice. And I thought Clement looked good. He looked like someone he doesn't just look like a camp body to me. He looks like a guy we might keep around. For real. Now, is he going to be on the roster? You know, you got Davis, you got Batty, Gus, and J.K. Let's say Gus and J.K. are out weeks 1 through 6. Yes, Clement's going to be on the roster. Yeah, I think he looks better than McCrary. Clement's even made a back shoulder catch on a wheel route versus a linebacker later on in practice. I think it was Josh Ross, but I might be wrong. Slade Bolden looked like a handful in the slot. I saw somebody tweet out, and I'm going to co-sign it. I get it now because he gave our second-team defense problems off to the left side. He did drop one ball that was off target. Later on, it was low and to the outside. I'm not sure it hit his hands, but I'm not sure I can necessarily call it a drop. Our UDFAs are huge. Huge. It looked like you just saw a picture of it pop up. Bridges and Devon Williams are X's right there with Bateman. Look like to me Polk is being used over off the right side, the opposite side of the X's. So I guess you call it the Z. Maybe backing up Duvernay. I'm not sure. But all those guys had some moments. I like how we ended practice. It really has me interested. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to explain it in a way that makes a lot of sense. We ended practice with a lot of half-field coverage stuff. That's not abnormal in a defensive practice that's low-key in terms of intensity. It's not abnormal. I am interested, however, in whether we're going to be running split-field coverages or not, which I don't know if we're going. I haven't heard anything like that. I don't know that Mike McDonald's a split-field coverage guy. I saw a lot of cover 2 for Michigan. Saw a lot of man-free in certain situations. I did see some cover 3, but not a ton. I'm talking about Mike McDonald at Michigan. That last period there, as practice ended, or at least the video ended, I was interested in. I thought Brandon Stevens looked good. There you see him tight coverage on Likely. I thought he looked really good. I have made some general observations here. Probably missed some things. I am concerned about the pressure off the left edge. I thought it was consistent, but again, this is just on first watch, and me just taking notes. Typed up about 7 pages of notes during the practice. Just try to get as many things on paper. I did record it, and I'll probably watch later and maybe put out something small tomorrow. I'm going to go through some observations just to the flow of practice, probably up through the first 40 minutes of the practice, and 8-10 minutes of commentary by me. In the beginning, obviously, they were highlighting Lamar, and my theory of us being under center at first, I was like, oh, man, we're in the pistol the whole damn time. So kind of like at first I was like, oh, there goes my theory. Couple quick screens early, and of course the first play of team 11 on 11 was a quick screen out of empty to Bateman off to our left. Running back work they showed. I mean, Justice Hill seeing him back out there was great. I know he's a real good special teams player. It's going to be difficult. I don't know how they handle this running back room, even with Gus and J.K. not playing in week 1. I don't know how they handle it in terms of who's out there. Davis is, from what I saw today, Davis is number 1 guy. Batty, maybe he's number 2, maybe Clement, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that it's Justice Hill. Although Justice Hill did have a nice catch in team. I think it was the 3rd play. A lot of stuff looked like offense success drills from the first 2 or 3 days of practice. A lot of those little clips we saw I would classify as offense success. So what that means is, if you don't know, there's drills where there's a defender, but it's normally somebody who's at your position. So like a running back covering a running back. The defending running back is just simulating a defensive player. And the play is designed for you, the offensive guy, to have success. That's called offense success. Conversely, there's things called defense success drill, where you are to provide resistance. And I'm going to pop a little bit of a bubble for some of you guys. There's been 2 plays I've seen shared this week out of George Pickens from Steelers camp that are offense success drills. There's another receiver who is providing some resistance, leverage side resistance, to allow a back shoulder throw to be completed, or one jump ball in another case. Another thing that I have already mentioned, our UDFAs are huge. Victor as well, who's not a UDFA, at least not this year. A lot of stuff in the pistol early. I did see some 2 reps that really highlight something that I think needs to be pointed out. And we all should be excited about some of the UDFAs and their size. But man, there was 2 reps in a row, one by Devon Williams and the next one by Prochet, and the difference was striking. I mean, the sharpness of the cut, well, the stance. First of all, Devon Williams false stepped out of the stance, then rounded the second part of his cut, and then dropped the ball. Prochet was like a machine on the very next rep. It was like catching balls on air, so no defenders there. Just smooth. If you don't think Prochet if you watch some of those reps and you didn't see the difference in Prochet, I don't know what to tell you. We just don't see things the same. Is he an 80 catch a season guy? No, not at all. Now, if he played in a run and shoot system from the 90s, yeah, he's going to catch 65, 70 balls a year, maybe more. But in our system, a good season for Prochet this year, probably 35, 40-plus catches on 50 to 54 targets, something like that. High percent catch guy. Maybe more if we're behind in a lot of games, which I hope we aren't, or if we're giving people trouble in the passing game. Now I'm going to talk about specific plays. I did think initially that, the defense was giving us a little bit of trouble early. We had a screen to Bateman off the left side on the first play, nicely designed play. Clearly indicates it was what some people call tunnel screen, where the outside receiver, Bateman, the number 1 receiver, is coming back to the football, and the left tackle, left guard are getting out there. It looked like to me Jawan James and the left guard got out there. I'm on record as saying I'd like to see Makari get a shot at left guard, but it looked like the left guard was there, and I assumed his Powers or Phillips. We did have Ricard on the field often. 22 personnel jokers on the second play, and that was when Andrews was just cooking, and Lamar found him in open space pretty quickly. It looked like a zone. Justice Hill had a real good catch on the third play. I think it was like what I call a zig route, where he goes out to the right, like at a 45-degree angle, and then cuts back over the middle of the field, wide open. Lamar got 3 plays early, then Huntley got 3 plays, and I saw a lot of 12 personnel. Some 13, but a lot of 12 in our team, period, which is 11 on 11, in case you don't know. Looked like 6 plays initially. They were all pass plays. Likely had a couple of catches on some delayed stuff, but I thought he was well covered, for real. I thought the one picture that you've seen here multiple times, obviously Stevens covered him, blanketed him in a one-on-one. We ran zone concepts, guys. I saw zone stuff. I haven't watched it a second time. Haven't watched it, obviously, from the behind view, the end zone view, because there is none. I saw a lot of zone stuff. I saw Davis try to cut it back twice on a zone in what's called inside run. You get a picture of it here in a moment. Again, inside run means no receivers, no corners. So it's just generally going to be 9 on 7 or 9 on 8 or something like that. So the defense is going to be down 1 because offensively we have the quarterback. All right, and you'll get a picture here in a moment, and I'll pause it so you can see it. And I saw a lot of under center when we went inside run. And then I saw us under center even in some time periods that was team. So that was encouraging to me. I didn't see any boot off of run action, but I saw a lot of play action under center. You can tell me how much of that you remember. I remember at least 4 instances of Lamar being under center, a play fake to the running back, tailback generally. It looked like one back, or what I call ace, at least one time. But I saw a lot of under center play action stuff from Lamar and 2 or 3 instances of it from second string quarterbacks. 4-3 look by the defense on like the 7th play. That's inside run right there, by the way. This picture here, you see there's no receivers and there's no corners. So you got 8-man front by the defense. And you've got 2 tight ends and 1 running back, which looks to me like it's Davis. And it looked like we were just running through running backs when we went inside run, which is typical. You get 1 rep, and then they move on to the next play. We did some one-on-ones. It looked like to me the DBs understood that when it was a slant, we aren't going to contest it. That's not a slant right there, that picture. First rep, Bateman beats Humphrey inside on a slant, but to me it looked like the DBs covering understood if it's a slant, we are to provide leverage resistance, meaning stay on the top side of it, but don't try to contest it too much. Now, other routes, outside release goes, there was a deep curl comeback. Those routes were contested, and they were challenged. Geno Smith and Brandon Stevens, I thought, blanketed likely in one-on-ones. I think Mekhi Polk beat JAD one time inside easy, but again, I think the defense was coached to not contest the slants. A couple of overthrown balls. We don't know who threw them. There was a running chat in the live stream, and people were talking about who's throwing these balls, and I have no idea who was throwing them. I mean, maybe Lamar threw some of them, but I don't think so. 87 Clark, another big X with a big defender on his back. With the defender on his back, made a big catch in a one-on-one. There were some technical difficulties with the stream for real. Lamar, on the next time we went team, Lamar missed Bateman on a late dig or deep crosser, but there was pressure, and he had to throw it really, really late. Then there was the long bomb to Bateman. I don't know who the DB was he beat. Might have been Seymour. Seymour did seem to have trouble covering multiple guys. Ball took off out of Lamar's arm. That ball was a rocket. Just an absolute rocket. And an unbelievable catch by Bateman up the right side. Bateman looked elite. He looked on par with Andrews in terms of being dangerous. If you're scouting this team, if you were able to watch a team's practice that you're going to play this week, you say, man, those two guys really stick out. Tyler Batty had a couple of runs. Looked dangerous, if you ask me. Under center zone stuff later on with Lamar. Card was in the game. I thought that all our running backs looked like they were reading it well. Didn't see a lot of stretch stuff. I'm talking about inside zone. And sometimes the angle is weird. You think you're not sure if it's zone or stretch. I didn't see a lot of stretch stuff out of our running backs and our offensive line. Not saying they're not capable, because I think they are. Andrews was dangerous throughout, but there was a period where he was dialed back. And then Humphrey forced that fumble, and he kind of picked it up a notch. There was a third down situation where Bynes covered Andrews on a over route perfectly. Lamar threw it late because of the pass rush. Defense did a nice job, got a stop. Brown does have a long throwing motion. They're like third or fourth string quarterback. He did look good. He had two passes, one that was speared by Benjamin Victor late. It looked like Humphrey was to me, it looked like Humphrey was in position to challenge, but chose not to. But in any case, Victor with a great catch. I thought the defense was kind of holding off on contested catches in certain situations. Clement had an inside zone play later on where he made a nice cutback, and not a wind back, but just a quick cut. A lot of too high coverages from the defense. Then there was this time period where Bateman had 2 touchdowns down like inside the 10, somewhere around there. Some of the plays looked like they were from the 12. Again, I haven't watched it again, so I might be wrong there. We were 20 personnel one play, so a tailback and Ricard and 3 wide receivers. A great adjustment. I love this play. Ricard is lined up to the right of Lamar, and Lamar is in the pistol. And we go play action the other way, and Ricard goes out into the flats, the opposite direction of the running back. Lamar faked it out there to him, there was someone in the window, and then there was also a D-end or an edge player preventing Lamar from scrambling, and he just whipped it to Bateman in the back of the end zone. I mean, it was easy, and it was elite. I thought it was a great throw. Of course, when you saw Bateman catch it, he was wide open, but still Lamar had to find him. I thought it was great. We did go zone read option one time, which is new, and that was out of typical shotgun, not the pistol. And then Lamar extended the play again later and found Bateman versus Williams in the end zone. Andrews and Likely were blanketed on that one, and just a great time period for Bateman in that. To me, it looks like Tyler Linderbaum is fine in pass pro. I mean, I did not see issues. I didn't, but again, I haven't watched the second time. I know a lot of people on Twitter were talking about Travis Jones looked really good and was really effective. There was another team time period where a quick snap hit Lamar on the first play. Really weird. No idea what was wrong there at all. I saw a couple of RPO plays. And then I noticed that Macari was in at center, not left guard. It took me a while to notice where he was. There was a hurry-up offense period later on where we had Devon Williams, Slade Bolden, Likely, and Mekhi Polk in, and we just hurried it up. And with the pass game, the second string really took it to the defense. I was encouraged by what I saw today defensively, to be honest with you. I felt like, I've said it multiple times, I felt like we were dialing it back a little bit. I don't feel like the defense was getting anywhere near the quarterback. I thought there was times where the speed rushers were there and could have bent a little bit more, but kind of got upfield some more to create a seam for the quarterback to step up. If I was to say, who's more ready for a game situation, it's tough to gauge off of this. But certainly Bateman and Andrews looked great. Can't wait to see Prochet get some opportunities. Unfortunate that Duvernay ran into Clark. Later on in the practice, I did see Clark at inside linebacker in some dime situations with Queen. So there's your answer right there. Queen is going to get an opportunity to be on the field in some of those dime situations. I loved the half field coverage stuff at the end of practice, whereby the offense was doing the right side and covering the right side, and then the left side. And the left side was generally a running back and the X versus the inside linebacker, corner, and safety. And that's the way it should be in a split field coverage system, in a two high safety structure system. That kind of tells me we're going to play a lot more two high, which I think we knew already. I probably missed some elements here in this little reaction video. If there's any real takeaways, our big guys played well. Clearly, it's tough to gauge the offensive and defensive line guys because they don't have pads on. You know what I mean? The defensive line tends to have the advantage in these situations, if you ask me. And I felt like those guys were holding back a little bit, really, on the D line. Big three did great. Didn't see a lot out of Kyle Hamilton. Just didn't. I thought I even saw him working with the second string even more than I expected. Maybe that's just because they're practicing him at two positions. Maybe with second string he's playing free safety, which you see here, and maybe with the first group he's playing that second safety. The two biggest surprises for me is Patrick McCarry playing center. I feel like that's a wasted resource. That's just me, for real. I feel like we could use him at left guard. Jawan James is getting an opportunity at left tackle, I guess. But Ronnie Stanley, it sounds like from all accounts, is going to be ready to go at some point. Is close to 100%. Certainly you've seen a couple videos of him running, even running in sand the one time. I thought I even saw a video of him doing an agility drill early. And then Brandon Stevens, outside corner. We don't have... Humphrey spent a lot of time in the slot. Now versus regular personnel, base personnel, it looked like Humphrey was on with Fuller. Brandon Stevens looked like he was on sometimes in the base personnel. So and maybe I have that wrong, but I think I'm pleased with the options we have at corner, even without Marcus Peters. Maybe some people would say, well, Brandon Stevens isn't really outside corner to me, Coach. He's lined up outside corner here, and Fuller's on the opposite side. So it's interesting to me how we're aligning so far, how we're using some of these guys. Neither of those last two pictures you saw on defense, by the way, was Kyle Hamilton on the field. That's a little concerning to me. I'm not going to try to make it sound like a bigger deal than it is, but I did see enough first-team reps and Kyle Hamilton not being there, although sometimes the screen was zoomed in like that one there, and you don't really get a chance to see the other safety. So hopefully what I'm saying is unwarranted. Hopefully what I'm saying is without foundation, and he was on the field more than my brain and my eyes say he was. I'll try to glance through some of the other passing situations. Let me know what your thoughts were from the practice. If anything you thought I said here was off base, it's entirely possible. I only had one walkthrough. I thought we looked good. Thought we looked dangerous. Jason from Huddle Up Films was there, among other people, and said, we're an imposing looking team with the size we have, and even the size we have at like receiver and stuff like that. Very, very deep football team. Tough to evaluate. Obviously I'm trying to get out content. Everybody is too, in this period of time that's kind of quiet in terms of film that it's available. Please, if you appreciate the video, let me know. I'll do a follow-up video tomorrow if there's anything you guys think is that I missed or deserves a second look. It's tough to evaluate certain positions. Inside linebacker, D-line, O-line, clearly. In these lowered intensity situations. This was fun to watch, man. I don't know about you. I watched the stream and was pissed off when it kept going blank screen. Maybe they were trying to keep us from seeing certain things. I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to run any stretch boot plays, and so we didn't see it. So if you were there and you saw them things, let me know. Certainly saw enough under center stuff to get my attention with Lamar. Apparently, I can't remember who it was. Somebody said there's people who say Lamar doesn't play well with his back towards the defense. It's the easiest thing for a quarterback to do is hand the ball off or hand it off, or not hand it off and boot, and then have the edge to either run or throw, and receivers, filling the lanes, leveled lanes, running towards the same side of direction. That's the easiest thing to do. Wing T, the base wing T passing play, which is the most non-passing offense that there is, that still survives to a large extent in high school and youth football. The wing T is the waggle. The waggle pass is, anybody can do that. Anybody can play with their back to the defense as a quarterback on that play. It's not like they're asking Lamar to do that a ton. So I appreciate you guys. If you checked out the video, man, and listened this far, let me know what you think of this content specifically as it compares to other stuff that I generally put out.